Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, Maseches Nedarim Daf Hey. We begin on the third line from the top of the Amud. Perhaps, before we proceed, let's take a brief look at the Mishnah back on Daf Beis Amud Aleph. We began with kinuyin, those slang expressions, then proceeded to yodes, the abbreviated expressions, and the Mishnah gave us some examples. Ha'imar l'chaveri mudrani mimcha, or he said mufrashani mimcha, or miru chakani mimcha, and then the Mishnah proceeds she'ani eichalach, she'ani taim lacha. All these are asr. Towards the end of yesterday's blot, Shmuel told us you need to say the entire thing. Mudrani mimcha is not enough. Rather, you must conclude by saying Mudrani mimcha she'ani oichalacha, or she'ani taim lacha. Why? Why is that necessary? So initially the Gemara figured because otherwise it's not readily apparent what you're trying to say. Then we had a brisa which indicated otherwise. Mudrani mimcha is really enough. So why then does Shmuel insist on saying the entire text? The Gemara proceeded with another theory, another suggestion. Mudrani heimecha alone would actually make it worse. Why? The Gemara and the Ran expounded that heimecha, you, what are you? A person and belongings. So a person's belongings relate to him as well. So when I say, I will distance myself from you with a nether, the word I implies I as a person and my belongings as well will disengage from you and your belongings. Basically, I won't take from you, you won't take from me either. So it's a two-way disengagement, a two-way nether. But if you want it to be a one-way disengagement, you must add Mudrani mimcha sha'ani oichalach, referring to my consuming of your item. Then it sort of limits the nether. It makes it, I can't take it from you. It's a one-way restriction. And that's what Shmuel was telling us. Just the opposite than what we thought. You don't have to add sha'ani oichalach, but if you don't add it, you can end up with a double disengagement. Because when we speak about me and you, unless I specify otherwise, me means myself and my belongings, who are going to be detached from you and your belongings. So me means I won't take from you. What do you mean me and my belongings are detached? Oh, you can't have my belongings either. And vice versa. And we had a raya from Rabbi Yehuda to that effect. Today the Gemara will ask a kasha on that. When you refer to a person, it's beyond the person himself. It includes belongings, which results in this sort of double disengagement. Tanan, take a look at the Mishnah later on in Maseches Nedarim Adaf Mem Zayin. Hareini alecha chirem. I am asr to you, like a chirem. It's a form of isr. I am considering myself off limits to you. You can't have anything of mine. What is the halacha? Says the Mishnah, Hamudur Asr, the fellow on the receiving end. So it's Reuven turning to Shimon, I am considering myself a cherem to you. So Shimon on the receiving end cannot benefit from Reuven. Question: if when a person refers to himself or to his friend, it's a reference to the person and to his belongings as well, then here as well, it should be a two-way street. Right? Because when I say, I am asr on you, it means I and my belongings are asr on you and your belongings. Now, what do you mean your belongings can't take from me? Belongings never take. They're inanimate objects. Oh, apparently he meant to say, I will keep away from your belongings as well. Just as you can't partake in mine, I can't partake in yours. But the Mishnah doesn't say that. What does the Mishnah say? Hamudur asur, you're asur, you can't take from me. Aval madur loy. But Reuben, who made the nether, he can have from Shimon, he can benefit from Shimon. That's a kasha on our premise that when you express it in this way, it creates a double disengagement. Answers the Gemara, typically it does. Kigoin the Parish, who's speaking that he explicitly expressed otherwise. He made an exception. Va'at olai loy. He said, look, you're not going to be asur on me, meaning I can partake from you. He clearly accepted that. He made an exception, and therefore it doesn't apply. Okay, good answer. What about the next halacha in the Mishnah, where he said, At olai cherem. Reuben to Shimon, you are asur like a cherem to me. So I don't want to have anything from you. What does the Mishnah say? What is the halacha? I can't take from you, but you can take from me. Ha'neider asur. Reuben, who made the nether, can't benefit from Shimon. Aval muder loy, but Shimon on the receiving end, the subject of the nether, he can take from Reuben. Why? Same question here. When Reuben said, look, you are a cherem on me, when he said me, that includes his nechasim, his belongings, his possessions. Now, Reuben's possessions are not benefiting, they're not taking things from Shimon. He meant that Shimon cannot engage with Reuben's possessions. So Shimon can't benefit from Reuben either. So why do we say that the fellow on the receiving end, the subject of the nether, Shimon, can take from Reuben? It should be a two-way isser. So at olai cherem, you are a cherem on me. Hanayder asur, I can't take from you. Avol muder loy, but you can have from me. Why? The same answer, says the Gemara going to Parish, who's speaking that he specifically specified va'ano olech alai. I will not become asur on you. Says the Gemara, Aval stama mai. But what would happen if there is no explicit specification? Just a plain lashon of alecha alai. It includes everything. Shnei asurim. So both individuals will be asur to each other. Is that so? Hamigdetani seifa. So why then does the Mishnah have to proceed to another case to highlight that two-way isser? Harini alecha. Va'atolai, I'm asur to you, you're asur to me. Shnei asurin, then it makes a double isser, which sounds like hadein hu deshnei asurin. In this specific instance, does it result in a two-way isser? Hastam, but otherwise, hu asur v'chaveri mutter. Only one fellow is asur and the other fellow is mutter. That flies in the face of our notion that any such terminology includes belongings and becomes a two-way isser. Ella rather will back off from that theory. It's incorrect. Hachi itma Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina. The halacha Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina was stated otherwise. Muder ani lecha shnei masur. There's a difference between saying the word lecha, in which case it becomes a two-way isser. Mudrani hey mecha, but just using the word hey mecha, that's different. Who asur v'chaver mutter, the fellow who said it becomes asur on his friend. He can't partake from his friend, but his friend who didn't commit to that neder is mutter. And the Ran explains, lecha can have a double meaning. It can mean my stuff are asur to you, you can't take from me, and likewise lecha can mean mishalcha, from you, I cannot take from you. So it creates a double neder. That's all he was saying. The word lecha has unique meaning, as opposed to heimecha doesn't have that same value. I am asur to take from you, that's it. It's a one-way deal. Asks the Gemara, okay, understood, granted. Let's go back to Shmuel. So when Shmuel tells us that you need to actually say Shani oichalacha, Right? That was Shmuel's chiddush. You can't just stop with Madrani Heimecha. You have to continue Shan Oichel Lecha. I cannot consume from you. The food that I can theoretically take from you is usher to me. Right? You have to add, if you conclude with that expression as well. According to this approach, all Shmuel was telling us was as follows. That theoretically, if he would say the word lecha somewhere along the netter, like Mudrani lecha, right? Then Mudrani lecha, then it would create a two-way isser. Because as we just explained, lecha can mean my stuff usher to you, and lecha can mean mishalcha. I cannot take from you. So it creates a double-edged isser. Right? So in order to get away from that, to avoid that double isser, you have to specify she'ani oichelach. That clarifies things. I am usher to take from you. I am usher to eat from you. And that was Shmuel's message. Lecha typically has a double meaning, goes both ways, unless he specifies it's just about me taking from you. That's all Shmuel was telling us. Be careful. If you want to keep it one way, make sure to add. Don't just stop by saying Mudrani lecha. Add she'ani oichel lecha. Oh, that turns it into a one-way street. I will not take from you, but you can take from me. Problem is, if we take a close look at the Mishnah never mentioned Mudrani lecha. Rather, the Mishnah said Mudrani mimcha. Mimcha doesn't have that same meaning. It's not like lecha, which can mean both ways, lecha and mishalcha. So if it's just Mudrani mimcha, of course it means I can't take from you. Why does Shmuel have to say that you have to add she'ani oichel lecha to clarify things? Asks the Gemara, the Mishnah actually uses the expression Mudrani heimecha, not lecha. And Shmuel established and interpreted our Mishnah. When it comes to all these expressions, even Mudrani mimcha, you have to add I taking from you, my consumption from yours. In that case, we say it's a one-way deal. Huda asur, he can't take from his friend, v'chaver mutar, a friend can take from him. Aval b'medrani heimecha, which almost sounds like if you wouldn't add that part 2, which indicates that it's only personal between me and you, it's a one-way thing, I can't take from you, without that addition, if he only sticks to the first part of the expression, that would result in a double isur, shnei masurin, which of course is incorrect, because this idea of a two-way isur is only triggered by lecha, as we explained before. Lecha can go either way. So we understand Shmuel's point, but I mean, it's true that when you have a lecha, then you have to make sure to clarify things and explain that it's only one way. But the problem is that Shmuel was referring to the Mishnah, which makes it confusing because the Mishnah doesn't even have the word lecha. So the halacha is true, and it's very possible that the Mishnah had that in mind, but why would the Shmuel actually refer his halacha back to the Mishnah? Perhaps it's a hidden halacha in the Mishnah, but why would he refer it straight to the Mishnah, which results in confusion, results in misunderstanding, because after all, the Mishnah doesn't even have the word lecha. Maybe it's alluding to that halacha as well, but in actuality, in reality, the words in the Mishnah don't reflect the halacha of lecha. There is no lecha in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, okay, let's back off from this theory. We're going to reinterpret Shmuel. Ela mi'ikara di Shmuel hachi itma. Rather, let's go back to first base. Mi'ikara, let's go back to stage 1. You know what Shmuel meant? Hachi itmar as follows. Talmud Amar shani oichel lecha, v'shani toyam lecha. If a fellow says Madrani mimcha, and then adds to it shani oichel lecha or shani toyam lecha, then it's a limited restriction. It's a food-related neder. In that case, we say hu dein hu asr ela b'achila. In that case, he's only asr to eat his other friend's food. But if you would stop before that, ha madranim mimcha, and simply just say these two words, madranim mimcha, it would generate a greater, more expanded isser. Asr afilu bahana. I'm totally disengaging. I can't even have any. No benefit, nothing of yours. That was Shmuel's point. You want to limit your neder to food-related interactions? Fine. But make sure to say shani oichalacha, which indicates consumption. But mudrani mimcha is a comprehensive disengagement which incorporates any form of anah. That's also a problematic pshat in Shmuel, because look, what does Shmuel say? You have to make sure to say shani oichalacha, which almost sounds like there's no validity unless you say it. According to your approach, it's the other way around. It has very much validity, too much validity, unless you limit it by saying shana eichelecha, which limits it from more comprehensive, extended, all-encompassing disengagement and focuses on achila. So the wording of Shmuel should have been arranged otherwise. If that's the case, Shmuel should say hachi as follows: V'im lo yamar ela shana eichelecha v'shani taim lecha. By saying mudrani mimcha, that includes hanoah as well. If you want to keep it to achila, make sure to add these words, food-related words. Shmuel does not say it. It doesn't sound like he's saying that. He says you have to say these words. It almost sounds like it's a condition. It's a required element. So this pshat doesn't work. Elahachi itmar. Rather, he meant as follows. You do have to say these expressions. Otherwise, it's meaningless. Only because he added these expressions. Then we say it. Isser was created. A neder was created. But if it suffices with just those words, mudrani emecha, it does not activate a neder. Lo mashma damar asr. It's not implying any isser neder. You know why? My time. Why? It sounds very personal. I have nothing to do with you. Okay, so don't have anything to do with me. It's nothing more than that. You're not actually making an item-based isser, a neder, which is a chefza. You're not doing that. By just saying mudrani hemecha. Mudrani hemecha. Mudrani hemecha can just mean loy mishta'ina b'hadacha mashma. I'm not going to talk to you. Or the words mufreshani hemecha. I'm going to be separate from you. On a personal level. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to conduct business transactions with you. That's about it. I'm disassociating from you on a personal level. But it's not item-based. It's not neder-based. Or the term I'm going to distance myself from you. Again, has no neder implications. It can simply mean I'm not going to stand next to you. I'm not going to stand within your 4 amas. If you want it to be a neder on a specific item, for instance, this fellow's meals, his food, you have to add the keywords shani eichlecha. Why? Says the Gemara, because Lemakas of Shmuel, apparently Shmuel subscribes to the view that Yodayim she'ein meichiches, shorthand, expressions, abbreviated expressions, which aren't readily apparent, which aren't really, obvious. Lo yhavyon Yodayim don't carry any weight. So unless you specify to a certain extent, you haven't really said anything. Is that true? That Shmuel adopts this view? Yes, incorrect. Shmuel Mukimel Masnisni. In fact, he learns our Mishnah like the Shita of who? Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar Yodayim Shein Mechichos Lahavin Yodayim. Unless the Yodayim means the handle of the kli. The Ran explained to us in that base, like you grip the pot by its handle. You grip the neder by this abbreviated expression. That's okay. We learn it from a pasuk, but it has to have some value. It has to have some meaning. You have to be able to interpret it to mean something. Right? But if it's too ambiguous, it's called ein meichiches, and it doesn't work. And hence, Shmuel's halacha. Mudrani mimcha, too ambiguous. What do you have in mind? You have to add at least a bit more to specify it further. Shani eichel lecha. Where is Rabbi Yehuda? By get, the snan. Guvi shall get. What is the essence of the get? The primary text of the get are the following 5 words. Hariat muteres l'chol adam. You are now permitted to marry anybody. That's the Rabbanan. So even though it's not really a full, clear expression of what we were trying to do here, that suffices. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no. You have to specify further. V'dein. In fact, you have to say this thing here, this document, not just my verbal expressions. It's going to be this document which will accomplish the divorce. The Avalechi, which will provide for you. The Avalechi Minai, which you have from me. Minai. So again, he has to say it's from me, as opposed to, I don't know, from somebody else. So this, coming from me, coming to you from me, will be a Sefer Teruchen, a document which creates Teruchen, divorce. Vigera Shvuken, some sort of Igeris, an expression, like a document, a letter. Shivuken, of abandonment. So according to read, you have to be very precise, very clear on what you're trying to do. Otherwise, it's not readily apparent. Maybe it's my words that are creating the divorce. Maybe it's coming from a different person. V'dein, etc., etc. Only that works. Shmuel adopts this view, even when we allow you a daim, an incomplete expression to create a neder, but it has to have some sort of clarity. Asks the Gemara, who forced Shmuel to interpret our Mishnah in Nedarim like Rabbi Yehuda, who requires a more comprehensive expression? Look what Rabbanan, perhaps our Mishnah follows the Rabbanan, who do not require such an extensive expression. Even if the Yodayim are not so obvious and specified. Amarava mas nisan kashise, because he took a close look at the wording in the Mishnah, which he found a bit difficult to understand. Amai tani shani echel lecha. Why does the Mishnah add the word lecha? Shani echel lecha, instead of saying shani echel. The food that I have from you, I will not eat. Shani echel lecha. I mean, he's speaking to his friend. We know what he's trying to say. Shani otayim lecha. What's the point of lecha? Listening, it can just suffice by saying shani echel, shani otayim. That's also enough for your dayim. We understand what he has in mind. Shmamina, we learn from here, but in yudayim mechichos, it needs to be more obvious, more apparent. Hence, Shmuel's conclusion, our Mishnah follows Rabbi Yehuda. You need the yudayim mechichos. In which case, he concluded that Mudrani Hemecha doesn't really say much about creating a neder on the person's items and the person's foods. Rather, he must conclude by saying Shana Eichel Lecha, which makes it a more clear expression. That takes us to the topic of Yodayim She'en Mechichos. Itzman, we have learned at Machlekes Amoraim as well. Yodayim She'en Mechichos, these types of incomplete, ambiguous expressions. Abaya Amar Hav Yodayim, they count as Yodayim. They activate Nedarim. V'Rav Amar Lo Hav Yodayim, they do not. They're not considered Yodayim. Amar Rava, Rabbi Yehuda Asberli, Rabbi Yehuda explained to me the source of Yodayim. She'en mechiches lo yahav yodayim. How do we know that it has to be a clear-cut expression? Amakra, we have a pasuk by Nazir, which is actually the source pasuk for Yodayim, as we had back in Naf Gimel. Nazir lahazer, right? The double expression, which teaches us the concept of Yodayim. Nazir lahazer lashem, makish yodos nezirus lenezirus. The pasuk here is connecting the yad of a Nazir to the actual Nazir commitment. Ma nazirus b'haflo, af yodos nazirus b'haflo. Just as we know that when one commits to becoming a Nazir, it has to be clear-cut and apparent what he's doing at that time of expression. Rashi brings the Gemara, Mesachas Nazir. Rabbi Tarfon says, let's say we find a person walking towards us, and we say, look, if that person is so-and-so, if that person is a Nazir, let's say, I'm going to be a Nazir right now. It doesn't work, according to Rabbi Tarfon, because the pasuk says, Ish ki yafli. That's the term the pasuk uses to describe a person committing to becoming a Nazir. Yafli means a clear-cut, absolute expression of commitment. If there's any ambiguity, any suffix in what I have in mind, We're not sure right now whether it's going to be activated or not. We'll wait and see who this person turns out to be. That doesn't work. At that time, at that moment of expression, you have to see a full commitment. That's a chiddush by Nazir. I'm going to be a Nazir on condition that that's Ruvain, and it turns out to be Ruvain, it doesn't work. So just as Nazirus must be expressed clearly and absolutely, Af Yodos, Nazirus, Ba'aflo likewise, in similar fashion, when we speak about Yodos, there needs to be some sort of clarity as well. Says the Gemara, okay, then we have a Machlekes Amoraim which sort of match a Machlekes Tanoim, Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanan by get. Shall we say that the two Machlekes match up? Lema beplukta to Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanan kamiflagi? This nan, as we just had in the Mishnah, Gufe shall get. What is the crux of the get? Hariyat Materes L'chal Adam. It's even just a short form version is get. Rabbi Yehuda, no, you have to add more specifications. You have to add clarity. V'dein, this document, the Yahav L'chiminai, which you get from me, will be a Sefer Teruchin, we get Peturin, we get Reshavukin. It has to be clear and absolute. So perhaps Abaye, who told us that you don't need Yudai Mechichos, he's going like who? The Amak Rabbanan. The Rava who said it needs to be more clear, he's going like who? Like Rabbi Yehuda, the Amak Rabbi Yehuda. That's a bit problematic to say that Amoraim are arguing on the same thing that Tanaim are arguing about. Amalach Abaye will tell you, look, you know what? I'm not the Amri, I feel like Rabbi Yehuda. My opinion is that Yodayim She'ein Mechichos are enough. Can be consistent even with Rabbi Yehuda, who requires more clarity, more detail by the get. You know why? A get is different. Ad kan loikam Rabbi Yehuda, ba'inon yodai mechiches. Perhaps it's only by the get that Rabbi Yehuda has these additional requirements. El legabe get. You know why? A get is trying to change a status. The ba'inon increases valak. It needs to be a full, clear-cut disengagement and cutoff. The Rush says, up until now they were married. You have to undo that status with something clear and absolute. The intent, the process, must be apparent and clear in the actual wording of the document. V'lekan, if it's not there, if it's not specified, if it's not detailed enough, you don't have that effect. Aval ba'ama, but typically, mishamasle, perhaps Rabbi Yehuda would not require that extensive detailing, such as by Nedarim. So Abai can work even with Rabbi Yehuda. On the other hand, V'Rava Amar, Rava who holds that you do need more detail, right? He holds Yadayim that are not Mechiach don't work. He'll tell us, Rava Amar, I know the Amri, I feel the Rabbanan, I can work even with the Rabbanan, who don't seem to be too concerned with, details by the get. Ad kan like Rabbanan loy ba'inan yudai mechiches. Perhaps it's only over there that the Rabbanan do not require the additional clarity. Elagabe get, only by the get, ein adam megarish eshes chaver. You know why? Rabbanan hold there's no point and purpose in saying it's coming from me. Well, obviously, of course. Why would you divorce somebody else's wife? Ein adam megarish eshes chaver, as eshes chaver. And likewise, why would I think it's my words that are doing the get? It's the document that I'm giving you. So things are so clear and apparent. You don't need to add more details. Aval ba'alma, but otherwise, in a case where there is room for ambiguity, room for confusion, like by the neder, mishamaslu, who's to say what they hold? Perhaps there, of course, they would require, and even a yad, even a short form, abbreviated version of neder, to be detailed to a certain extent. So, bottom line is, we have the chiddush of Shmuel, that when our Mishnah speaks about Mudrani Memcha, and then proceeds to Shani Eichelecha, you should know that it's actually required, because otherwise, as the Gemara concluded, otherwise Mudrani Memcha can simply mean, I'm going to keep away from you. But to actually make it into a neder, Shani Eichelecha, what I would consume from you, be usher to me. That turns into a neder, and the Gemara tells us because this is really based on a whole discussion, which is actually Machlekes Amoraim, perhaps Machlekes Tanoim. Yodayim, how extensive do they have to be? Shmuel says very extensive, very detailed, to the point that you have to actually see what he's trying to say. You can't just guess. And therefore you need the added expression of Shani Eichalach to indicate that there is a neder being formed. How did Shmuel know that the Mishnah follows this train of thought? Because of the word L'cha. Shani Eichalach. Why L'cha? We know what he's trying to do. We know who he's addressing. Apparently, you need the daim mechiches. That was the basis of Shmuel's approach to the Mishnah. So you had a machlokes between Abaye and Rava as well, and Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanon by get. And then we concluded that perhaps get and Nedarim aren't really associated, because by get, there's reason to believe that you need more detailing. You need the Sefer Krisis, or perhaps the opposite. By get, the circumstances lend to full understanding of what they're trying to do. It's coming from him in a document form. Perhaps over there things are different and you don't need such extensive detailing, but by Nedarim perhaps you do. But ultimately we know there's a machlekes regarding Nedarim, and the Ran concludes that we follow Shmuel's shita, that even if you want to use an abbreviated form of expression to create a neder, but you need some sort of basic detailing, so that it's classified as a yad moichiach. All the best to you and much hatzlacha.